Hey everyone, it's Carly. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my March wrap-up. So this month I read a total of 7 books. Wow. So yeah, last month I think I read 6. This month I read 7. And it wasn't a great reading month compared to last month. I just was not in the mood to read. I'm like hitting a reading slump since we've been on like quarantine. All I want to do is play Sims. Like that's all I want to do, and it's all I've been doing. So I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like reading. I'm in the middle of like 3 books right now, and I have no desire to pick them up. I know I could easily DNF them. I DNF'd one of them. I actually will tell you guys the books I DNF'd this month as well. So let's just get into the stats. So like I said, I read 7 books, and all 7 of them were like romance or contemporary. So yeah, I read a lot of romance this month. 2 of them were audio, 3 were physical, 2 were from my Kindle, 2 of them for 2 stars, 3 of them were 3 stars, and 2 of them were 5 stars. So yeah, not a pretty good reading month. So let's start out with our first 2-star. To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. So I did not like this book. Everybody knows what this book is about, so I'm not even going to bother going into it. I did not like it. I'm not continuing the series. I've already took the series off my shelf, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, this was just disappointing in all ways. It was very cringy, very contemporary romance, so I think contemporary is just not my thing anymore. So I'm definitely going to be getting rid of this and getting it to my bookstore along with the series because this was just not it for me. I listened to this on audio, I just didn't like it, and I really wish I didn't actually pick it up ever. After that, I started Backlist Readathon, and so I thought I was going to have an amazing reading month with that, but no. I DNF'd 2 of the books that I read, and the first one being Siege and Sword by Leigh Bardugo. Again, I am DNFing this entire series, just because this one is so different compared to the first book, and I love Shadow and Bone. I am keeping that on my shelf, actually, because I did like that one a lot. I think I gave that 5 stars, and it was like technically like my first fantasy, I guess. So I tried to listen to this on audio, it just wasn't working out for me, and the minute you would just get distracted and my mind would go somewhere else, I lost my track and what was happening, and it was just so different compared to the last book. It's like 2 different people wrote these books, and it's just it wasn't working for me, so I'm getting rid of it and the entire series. Next book I read was the only book that I read for Backlist Readathon, and I gave this a 5 stars, and that's pretty rare because I don't tend to give graphic novels a 5-star, but I read Fence Volume 1 and I loved this so much. It was so cute. I am excited to get the second volume. Whitney Novels actually gave this to me, I think for Christmas or something like that, and I am absolutely thankful that she did because this is definitely one of my new favorite graphic novels, and it was just so cute. It definitely has LGBT rep in there, which is what I used it for one of my tiers, I guess, for the Backlist Readathon. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I was able to at least read this for a Backlist Readathon, but it was really cute. I have a reading vlog that I'll link up in the cards, wherever that is, so you can watch and see my reactions to this. Next book is another one of my 5-star books, and this is again not a shocker, but I read Credence by Penelope Douglas, and I am so glad that I finally read this. After I read this book, I started to get really slumpy, and that's when my month started taking a hit, because after that, there was just no books that really were like comparing to that and that I wanted to read besides that book. So I was kind of having a really shitty reading month after that, because I love that book. I love the characters. I loved everything about that book. I, again, will link up that reading vlog in the card. Really enjoyed this. If I could recommend any Penelope Douglas book, I think this might be my top one. Actually, no, I think it goes Birthday Girl, Credence, Punk 57. I don't really know because they're all so fucking good. Like after this, I'm trying to read all Penelope Douglas' readings, and I just love it so much. I'm having a great time. The next book was a 3-star, which I think I'm gonna knock it down to a 2-star because it was just not it for me. It was an erotic novel, and that was The Good Listener, and it just was not good. It was 22 pages long. I don't know what I could expect out of that, but it was basically about literally just a hookup between a professor and his student, and then I guess she goes to his house so much and they hook up so much that the one neighbor hears him all the time, and so she decides to join them, and it was very boring. Honestly, Penelope Douglas could do it better, if I could just say that now. The next book I actually read for a 24-hour readathon, so I have 2 books in here that I read for Chanel's 24-hour readathon. Again, I will link her channel down below, and again, that video is in with my weekly reading vlog. So I read Heavy Final Volume 1. I actually got this from ALA, so I got the chance to read this finally. I've been dying to read this, and it was okay. It definitely took a turn for not what I was expecting. I thought it was just a cute little like book about these girls that work at like a vinyl shop, but no, it's basically about these girls that work at a vinyl shop, and then they're like undercover fighters. Like they like are like I don't know what it's called technically, but they like fight, ring fighting. I don't know. It's something like that, and they have to like save one of the people that are supposed to like perform at their record store, and they find out that she's also in like this fighting group ring kind of thing, and it's just like it was kind of random. I don't know. I guess I'll pick up the second volume if there even is a second volume. It was cute. I liked the aesthetic mainly for that reason. Again, I put more of my thoughts and details into this in my weekly reading vlog. Next book, I wish I didn't even read. I gave this a 2 stars, but I don't even know why I gave it a 2 stars. I probably could knock it down to a 1 star. I got this from ALA, and I kind of regret getting this because it was not even worth my time. It was You Brought Me the Ocean. It is a LGBTQ plus superpower book. I don't even fucking know how to explain it. It's about this guy, and he has like these, he can't go near water basically, and he had like these superpowers. They supposedly have superpowers. His mom says he can't go near the water, that his dad drowned when he was little from the water, and so she's like constantly up his ass. He has like a best friend who is like in love with him, and she's just like, I want to beat her, honestly. She swears that they're together, she swears they're dating, and he gave her no recollection of them actually dating, so it's just kind of like, girl, you made that into your own thoughts and mind. So I was just like ready to fight her the entire time. And then he meets this guy, and he finds out he's gay, and so they date, and then he finds out he has fucking superpower because his dad is apparently a superhero and did experiments on him when he was little. It just kind of like made no sense at all. It just kind of came out of fucking nowhere. So I really did not like this book. If I could not recommend a book, it would be this one. I'm sorry to Alex Sanchez and Julie Morrow, but this book was just not it. And the last book that I read for this month was Hideaway by Penelope Douglas. This is the second book in the, oh my god, what's that series called? Penelope Douglas series. And it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it is. Second book in the series. I listened to this on audio. It literally took me the entire month. I started it like way in the beginning when I was going to work and driving to work, and I was like, oh yes, it's cool, I like this. And then I never picked it up again because I was just like, I didn't like it. It was like my first Penelope Douglas book that I didn't like. I gave it a 3 stars. And y'all know that every other book that I read of Penelope Douglas, I gave it a 5 stars. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here. It was just kind of really like cliche, really overdone, very dramatic, and just wasn't it. I didn't like I love Kai. Don't get me wrong, I love Kai. And this was his book. It was his point of view mainly. And him getting into a relationship with, I'm not going to ruin it, but with a girl. It's just, it wasn't it. I'm sorry, Penelope Douglas. You know I stan you and I love your books, but this one just wasn't it. I'm really hoping that the rest of the Devil's Night series is good. So, yeah. And then the last book that I read and DNF'd, which we all knew I was really excited for my TBR video, which I'm probably going to put a hold on that because I haven't been reading, was The Accidental Bad Girl. Yeah, you guys know how excited I was to read this, but I DNF'd it, and I never got to the Glass Hotel. It's sitting right here. I never got to it, so I had to find somewhere to put it on my shelf. Yeah, I DNF'd it. It was just starting off very cringy. I don't know. It's contemporary. I can't do contemporary anymore. Contemporary just comes off very cringy to me, and I just don't like it anymore. I don't enjoy it. So I'm not going to force myself to sit through a book that I probably only give 2 stars. So there's that. I guess since we're here, I'll just go over the books that I'm currently in the middle of. So I am in the middle of The Sun and Her Flowers. I know I bragged about how I'd be able to finish this one sitting, but no, I can't. This is a really heavy, like, poetry collection book that it's like kind of hard for me to get through. So I'm still in the middle of reading this. Haven't really picked it up because right now I'm about to dive into this really long poem, and I really don't feel like reading it. So I'm just not really in the mood for poetry, but I don't want to DNF it because, like, obviously I do like it enough that I'm tabbing it up for every section. And the next one I'm also in the middle of is Girl Interrupted, which I randomly just picked this up during the 24-hour readathon because I was like, oh, it's 168 pages. I'll be able to fly through that. No, not quite, because I didn't realize this is a memoir, and it's based on the writer. So I had no clue going into that, but I do like what it stands for because it's about like a psychiatric hospital and her dealing with a lot. So I get like Sylvia Plath vibes, so I like that. But whenever I sit down and read it, I end up getting up 5 minutes later and doing something else. So hopefully I don't DNF this because I don't want to. And the next book that I'm in the middle of is Vicious by LJ Shen. Yeah, I read maybe, I don't even know, maybe not even 20% yet, and I have not picked it up in a while. It's not that I'm not liking it, it's just I'm not in the mood to read. So there's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm really sorry that my uploading has been very sporadic and not my best. I have not been wanting to film. I don't want to do anything. I'm just feeling very lazy and quarantined. Quarantine vibes all around. So I still hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big like. Subscribe down below to my family, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.